Great, Tim. Thanks for that introduction. Simply put, Core is right at the front of the line of new global lithium production, with well-positioned with Australia's most advanced new lithium project. And really, we're one of only a handful of lithium projects around the globe that are in a position that can get into construction this year and potentially be in production by the end of next year. We're the most advanced new lithium project in Australia, and that really has come from over 5 years of investing in the project to a point now where it is near construction ready. We have all government approvals in place required to construct and build and operate both the mine and the lithium processing facility. But importantly, the project is located only 25 kilometres away from port and 25 kilometres away from Darwin, the capital city of the Northern Territory. So we benefit from the lower capex and lower opex of its location, adjacent to a capital city and all its infrastructure. We are targeting to update the project's DFS and release that in the next quarter, in the second quarter of this year. Then take the project to debt finance markets with the aim of achieving final investment decision, so FID, in the third quarter of this year. And on that timeline, we'll be starting construction activities by the end of this calendar year. There's been renewed interest and investor interest in the lithium sector as a whole over the last 6 months, but particularly this focus on Core as we're likely to become part of Tesla's supply chain in the future through our binding offtake to supply lithium concentrate to our largest shareholder, a group called Zhejiang Yahua, who are one of China's largest lithium producers. And Yahua, towards the end of last year, signed up a 5-year lithium hydroxide supply agreement with Tesla. So we'll be supplying lithium concentrate to Yahua, and Yahua will be converting spodumene concentrate into lithium hydroxide and supplying that to Tesla. The project's natural advantages enable us, with a modest capex of only 85 million Australian, to produce $160 million of revenue per annum through the generation of 175,000 tonnes per annum of high quality lithium concentrate. And that reflects the natural advantages of the project. And we're now well funded with a $40 million capital raise just completed to alongside taking the project into construction this year to really invest in ramping up our resource drilling and our exploration to grow the resources of the project, increase the life of mine, and increase the production capacity of the project. So that really has the significant upside to be able to expand and extend the project revenues even above and beyond those excellent economics that the project currently has. Next slide, thanks. So Core is arguably Australia's most advanced new lithium developer. It's a low-risk project adjacent to a capital city. It's near construction ready, and it offers significant substantial upside in value. We're currently trading in the order of 250 to 300 million market cap, but there's still some very strong peer upside comparisons to other developers. But also, as we look over the next 24 months to become a producer, the hurdles for us to be achieving that type of valuation, and there's no producer on the ASX that's valued less than 1.3 billion. At the moment, there's substantial upside as we move towards that goal. If we focus on Core, we've got a project that's fully approved by government. We've completed engineering studies, DFS level engineering studies of both above ground and below ground. We've got binding offtake in place. We've got good control over our reserves and resources. We're close to port, very competitive operating costs with the rest of the peers in Australia. And we're well cashed up now to take the project into construction, as well as add significant value to the project in increasing resources and reserves of the life of mine of project. Next slide, thanks. A quick corporate snapshot. We've got just over 1 billion shares on issue. We've been trading between sort of low 20s and high 30 cents over this year. And we've got over $40 million cash in the company at the moment, so we're well funded after completing a capital raise in the last couple of weeks. And importantly, we've got a management team and an executive team that have the skills and the capabilities and the experience, with experience of designing, delivering, and building mining projects around Australia, as well as specific expertise into lithium metallurgy and marketing. Thank you. The project really is built on two key advantages. So our Finniss Lithium project, the first of those is that we're developing some of Australia's highest grade lithium resources adjacent to Darwin Port, and the capital city of Darwin. So that saves us on transport costs, on capital costs, and operating costs, being that close to all the infrastructure of a capital city and port, which is Australia's closest port to Asia. The other key advantage we have is that we don't require flotation to produce a high quality lithium concentrate. So that avoids about 2/3 of the capex that other Australian producers have experienced in capex for flotation, and also the high finance cost that goes with that extra capital cost of flotation, and also avoids the not insignificant operating risk and operating costs with flotation and the higher energy intensity processes of grinding and flotation as well. So those two key advantages feed into a low startup capex of $85 million Australian, being able to produce revenues in the order of 160 million Australian. And I would suggest there's significant and substantial upside in our ability to extend those revenues and increase those revenues on an annual basis. Thank you. So in regards to location, the project is only 25 kilometres in a straight line from Darwin Port, which is Australia's closest port to markets in Asia. Importantly, the mine and the processing plant are only 500 metres away from a high quality sealed road that connects us all the way back to port. And that's licensed for quad road trains with a low transport cost of only $7 US a tonne to move material from mine to port. And that's Australia's closest port to Asia. So arguably the best logistics connection of any Australian lithium project to markets in Australia. And also in regards to capex savings, we don't need to build a haul road, it already exists. We don't need to build an airport, we're an hour's drive from Darwin Airport, and camps, we don't need to build camps. The project's a 45-minute commute from the suburbs of Darwin. So they're all savings for our shareholders. We don't need to carry that capex on our balance sheet, it already exists, we're already leveraging that. And in regards to transport costs, the benefits are obvious. The other key advantage, just drilling down into that detail, is that the natural mineralogy and the metallurgy of the ore deposits enable us to produce a high quality concentrate using simple gravity separation, so no flotation is required. So we avoid those costs, operating capex costs of flotation. And we're able to do that because the natural metallurgy of the ore deposits. So really it comes down to the 99% of the lithium is spodumene, which is the key mineral. It's not petalite and lepidolite and other lithium minerals that are hard to process. The mineralogy is simple of the pegmatites, and the pegmatites are coarsely crystalline. So the spodumene separates very well at a coarse crush size of 6.3 millimeters. There's been a lot of focus on core recently, as we're likely to join, or we have the potential to join Tesla's supply chain through our binding offtake deal with one of China's largest lithium producers, a group called Zhejiang Yahua, and Yahua's agreement with Tesla to supply them with lithium hydroxide for 5 years. Currently, that offtake with Yahua is for 40% of our production. And I'm pleased to say over the last few months that really the increase from other parties in our remaining offtake has substantially increased, really increased to a point now where we have over demand, multiples of over demand for the remaining product of the project. And so we're in a very good position to negotiate some strong offtakes as we bring the project to FID over coming months with some of the biggest guys in the room in the EV supply chain. Thank you. The access to Darwin Port is a key piece of infrastructure. So we've got agreement for port access with Darwin Port. And the infrastructure there at port is fit for purpose. So in regards to the bulk covered storage, bulk loading facilities, and the scale of vessels that go in and out of port on a regular basis suit us very well. So there's very little we need to spend to be able to access that port. Thank you. And the project is fully approved. So we've already been through a 2.5-year EIS process with the Northern Territory Government. So the project is approved, the tenure is approved for us to start mining and operating both the mine and the processing facility in the Northern Territory. And we've got strong support from the Northern Territory and Government, which indeed includes an offer of small debt finance piece to bring forward that investment into the Northern Territory. Thank you. And now that we're well funded, and we have been capital restrained over the last couple of years, towards the bottom of the lithium market, but even in that scenario, we've still increased the inferred and measured resources by 150% and the reserves by 150% last year. But now with that funding that we've just raised with over $40 million cash, now we can really ramp up our resource drilling to be able to increase the resources, to increase the life of mine, and to support increased production, annual production of the project. So that will likely extend and increase the revenues of the project significantly. So we're about to, next quarter, really ramp up our resource drilling and exploration drilling. We're confident in being able to deliver that resource growth because the area has been mined for tin and tantalum for over 100 years. There are hundreds of lithium-rich pegmatites that we know are out there. There's somewhere between 100 and 150. In addition to the resources that we've defined to date, there's somewhere between 100 and 150 targets, lithium pegmatite targets that we haven't yet put a drill hole into. So, thank you. Next slide. So, through 2021 and into 2022, we'll be looking to extend our existing resources and reserves. There are a number of brownfields targets that we've put holes into. We know they're mineralised with spodumene pegmatite. But as I said, there's over 100 lithium targets there that we haven't even put a drill hole into yet. So we'll be announcing continued resources and reserves growth as we deliver the project and bring it into construction through this year. And as I said, that feeds into significant upside to increase and extend the revenues and expand the revenues of the project. Thank you. So just in summary, Core Lithium, we're right at the front of the line of global lithium supply chain. We're Australia's most advanced new lithium project. We're fully approved. We're now well funded with over $40 million cash. We've got binding offtake in place, but we'll be announcing new offtake deals, and we're in a really strong position on it commercially, given the increased demand that's out there. Lithium prices are increasing rapidly. From 350 middle of last year, 450 in January, and I'm hearing the prices, with a 5 in front of them more recently. So prices are really on the increase, and we are well placed with our 5-year investment in the project now that we'll be presenting the project for finance next quarter and be starting construction on the project by the end of the year. Thank you.
Stephen, thank you. We've got lots of questions. We've got time for one, unfortunately. Are you looking to produce any lithium hydroxide in Australia, or are you just going to focus on spodumene concentrate?
Yeah, there's growing support for both the territory level, federal level, and commercially, globally, for us to be considering evaluating and producing lithium chemical and leveraging the industrial infrastructure around Darwin. So that's sort of something that certainly has potential and we're giving consideration to. But it would definitely be considered as part of a sort of a phase 2 for the project. Really, our focus right now is on getting our spodumene concentrate project into production by the end of this year.